Hello everyone. Welcome to second tutorial in heat transfer. The first tutorial was focused on chapter 1 and 2, which you have of heat and mass transfer, which also had part A and part B. Similarly, for tutorial 2, we also have part A and part B. So the part A of tutorial 2 is going to be focusing on chapter 3 of from heat and mass transfer textbook, which is steady heat conduction. The governing law for heat conduction is Fourier's law. We know from Fourier's law, Q is equal to Ka delta T over L multiplied by the time. In the right form, it will be Q dot. Q dot is equal to Q over T, Q by T, right? The energy by the time gives you the power, the right form. Okay, and you also know the unit of thermal conductivity. So over here, we are seeing how conduction process is happening. For a conduction process to happen, the most driving force for any mode of heat transfer is the temperature difference, the change in temperature. Okay, higher the change in temperature difference, higher will be a rate of heat transfer. Higher the area, higher the rate of heat transfer. Higher the K value, higher the rate of heat transfer, thermal conductivity. Higher the L, lower the rate of heat transfer. This is something you have seen from chapter 1 as well as chapter 2. Okay, so now let's move to the summary of this chapter. Okay, in the lecture you have covered steady state heat conduction in a plane wall. Okay, in a plane wall, how heat conduction happens in a plane wall. You have done the energy balance for it, which is the rate of heat transfer into the wall minus rate of heat transfer going out of the wall is nothing but rate of change of energy of the wall itself. Okay, but since we are dealing with steady state, what is a rate of change of energy of the wall? It's zero, because dE by dt is zero, because there is no change in with respect to time is constant, because we are dealing with steady state, zero. Okay, and then you have went through the thermal resistance concept. Okay, as well as you also have gone through thermal resistance network, thermal resistance concept for conduction, convection as well as radiation you have seen, and how it is related to, how thermal resistance is also related to electrical resistance. You have seen also that, because we know that in heat transfer Q dot is equal to delta T over R. This is in heat transfer. Okay, and from electrical we know current is equal to delta V over R electrical, RE, resistance of the electrical. Over here it is thermal resistance, over there it was electrical resistance. But both of them you can see the driving force in current was potential difference, and over here it is temperature difference. The driving force is temperature difference in rate of heat transfer, in heat transfer, and current is similar to rate of heat transfer. So you have seen from, we know from Ohm's law, I is equal to delta V over R. We know this. Okay, so that is what we have learned about thermal resistance concept, which you have already covered in the lecture with Doctor, and you also have seen thermal resistance network, how we develop the thermal resistance network and how we apply it for multi-layer walls. Okay, so this is what you have covered as part of steady state heat conduction in a plane wall. Then you have seen thermal contact resistance. Okay, when we have a perfect contact and if there is an imperfect contact, what will happen? Okay, imperfect contact means it will act as there will be some gaps when you are joining two irregular materials together. Okay, then you will have what we call it as a we call it as like irregular surface or something, then there will be some sort of gaps. These gaps are acting as a insulation. Okay, and then you have covered generalized heat resistance network. Okay, which you have done through some examples through the plane wall, inshallah, which we will be covering again. Indeed, we will do some examples as part of the tutorial as well. Okay, then how you also have seen heat conduction in cylindrical and spherical coordinate, how heat conduction happens in cylindrical as well as in spherical coordinates or geometries. And you have seen the importance of critical radius of insulation, how critical radius of insulation is affecting. Okay, it has a major impact in case of cylinders and spheres, because for a plain wall it doesn't make any sense, because as the insulation is increasing, it's much better, there will be the rate of heat transfer will decrease. But for cylinders and spheres, initially it will increase till we reach the critical radius. Okay, because as you increase the insulation, what is also going to increase? The rate of heat transfer will increase until it reaches the Qmax, and then after that it will decrease. Okay, so that is what you have seen as part of, we also call it as critical radius for cylinders and spheres. It has no effect on a plain ball, but it had effect on, because we know Q dot is what? Q dot is equal to delta T over R total, and for cylinders and spheres we had delta T over R insulation plus R convection. Okay, R insulation plus R convection. R insulation is nothing but the conduction form, and R convection is also there. So you can see there is also R convection. So as the insulation is increasing, what is also increasing? Because R convection was what? 1 over HA, right? And if we are considering a cylinder, what is A? 1 over H into 2 pi R L. So if radius is increasing, your R is decreasing, right? R convection is decreasing. So again the R total will decrease. But this will have effect till critical radius. Okay, so in that case the heat transfer is going to increase till critical radius, and after critical radius it will drop. There will be no heat transfer. There will be heat transfer, but the heat transfer rate will drop. Okay, then you also have seen something very important in this chapter, which is fin surface. Okay, you have seen the fin equation, what is fin efficiency, fin effectiveness, proper length of the fin, and finally heat transfer in common configurations. Okay, now as part of this tutorial, I have taken two important questions. One belongs to the resistance part, how you develop the thermal resistance network, and the second one belongs to the fin part, okay, which is related to fin surface. Okay, so let's start with the first question. Consider a 5 meter high, 8 meter long, and 0.2 millimeter thick wall whose respective cross section is given as shown in the figure. The thermal conductivities of various materials used in watts are given. Okay, so we have A, B, C, D, E and F. So we have 5 materials, or let's call it, yeah, we have 6 materials, different types, and their thermal conductivities are given. So step 1 will be what? Step 1 will be to develop the resistance network. Okay, this is for part A. Initially we will start with the temperature 1, T1, which is given. We are going from left to right. Okay, so this is for RA, the resistance for material A, RA, which is in series. Now you can see there is a parallel connection. B is connected in parallel with C, both the C's. Okay, so we have R has a 3 parallel connections. Okay, this is RC, RB and RC. Okay, and then again we are having a parallel connection which is RD and RE. Okay, and then it is formed into a RF, which is going to T2. Okay, so this is the step one we will do when we are having such questions. Okay, initially we will develop the resistance network. Now you will start solving for each resistance. Okay, so we know that for a conduction, this is the formula L over Ka, because what was from Fourier's law conduction, Q dot conduction is equal to Ka delta T over L. So delta T is the potential difference, or we say driving force, temperature difference is the driving force, and this is your resistance L over K. R is equal to L over K. And from Newton's law of cooling, we know for convection, Q dot convection is equal to H AS Ts minus T infinity. Q convection is nothing but Ts minus T infinity over R convection, and R convection is what? 1 over H AS. Because 1 over H AS, this part will give you convection part. Okay, now let's start. So in A, what is happening? We have conduction mode of heat transfer. So RA is what? Is L over K. What is L? L is 0. How much it is? It's 1 centimeter, right? So 0.01 over K multiplied by cross section area. Okay, so this is your cross section area, which is 8 meter by, what is your height for the small element, which is 4 plus 4, 8 plus 4, 12 centimeter. So area will be what? Cross section area is going to be 0.12 multiplied by the length, which is 8 meter. So you will get cross section area as 0.96 meter square. Okay, now Ka value is also given, which is 2 watt per meter degree Celsius. See, if I substitute everything, it is going to be 0.01 meter. Again I repeat, see, unit without unit it doesn't make a number, without unit doesn't make any sense, which I used to say in all the tutorials. Again I am saying it over here as well. Watt per meter degree Celsius multiplied by the area, which is 0.96 meter square. If you calculate, you will get it as 0.0052 degree Celsius per watt resistance unit is there. Okay, same way we will do for RB. RB is how much? 5 centimeter, right? The length. So 0.05 meter, and KB is how much? 8. Is 8 watt per meter degree Celsius multiplied by area is same, 96. Okay, which will give me meter. Again I said I have also missed over here the square. So if I substitute, I'll get it as 0.01953 degree Celsius per watt. Okay, so similarly I can find RC, RD and RE and RF. Okay, similarly I found the values for the, where I found RC to be 0.00781 degree Celsius per watt. Okay, and RD was around 0.01388 degrees Celsius per watt. Okay, and RE was 0.00595 degrees Celsius per watt. And RF was 0.03125 degrees Celsius per watt. The resistance value were found accordingly. Okay, so now after that what we will do, we found all individual resistance, right? We initially have what? We have a series connection. Then we are having a parallel connection over here. Again a parallel connection, right? We have seen over here, and RF is a series. So I will do write R. Next step is to find R total. R total is equal to RA plus 1 over RB plus 1 over RC plus 1 over RD, RC, RB and RC, again RC, right? Two RCs are there. C is twice. Okay, raised to minus 1 plus 1 over RD, RD and RE and are parallel. RE raised to minus 1 plus RF. Okay, by substituting all the values we will get R total as 0.0438 degrees Celsius per watt. Okay, 0.0438 degrees Celsius per watt. You get the total R total we found. Okay, so after what is your objective? To find the total heat transfer. So heat transfer for this small, first we will find for a small cross section which we have done. We found the R total for it. We will write T1 minus T2 over R total. This one I am doing right now for the small cross section, okay, which is 0.12 multiplied by 8, this cross section. Okay, T1 I know, T2 I know, 300 minus 100 over R total also I know, it is 0.0438 degrees Celsius, here also degrees Celsius per watt. So with that I will get that flow rate was 4.56 kilowatt. This is for the cross section of how much? 0.12 multiplied by 8 for this area. Okay, now if you want to take it for the whole wall, okay, what you will do? You will multiply by the whole area. So to get Q total, what you will do? It's very simple. Q total is nothing but the Q we found right now, the Q dot, let's put it as Q dot 1 or something, Q dot 1, okay, Q dot 1 multiplied by the total area by the small area, the one we found right now, small area. Okay, so Q dot 1 we found which is 5.6 watt. By the total area is what? 5 into 8, right? What is your total area? 5 into 8. It's given in the question. This is the area. And the small area is how much? 0.12 multiplied by 8. Divide by 8. You will get Q total as 1.9 into 10 to power 5 watt. So that was our first part of the question, which is rate of heat transfer through the wall. We found that, the rate of heat transfer through the complete wall. Now the temperature at the point where section B, this point B D and E meet. So this point, we need to find temperature at this point. Okay, which is an easy one. It's not that hard. Okay, now let's do part B. So this much we have done for part A. Part B is what? It's easy to find. You will just find R total. Because heat transfer is going to be steady. Because we start steady state. So heat transfer is not going to change. Okay, is equal to RA plus Q dot into, sorry, RA plus R in that point. Okay, R in that, RA plus R in the point, that point, mid, R mid we call it. Mid one. Okay, that point I'll get R total as 0.00854 degrees Celsius. So I have R total line right now, right? Q dot is the one, T is the one I need to find at this point. I need to find temperature at this point, which I consider as T. So it's easy. It's nothing but Q dot total. I have it, or which is also same. So Q dot is equal to, it's also Q dot, okay, is equal to we'll not take the total Q dot, we'll take this cross section Q dot, okay, because we are taking for the small cross section, right? So we will not take the total Q dot, we'll take Q dot 1, okay, because we are taking that cross section in that B point to get the temperature. Okay, so T1 minus T over R, the one we found right now, R total. T is the one we need to find. With that, you will get T as 261.4 degree Celsius. Okay, because T1 we already know. T is the one we need to find. This is the question mark, we don't know. Okay, R total we found it from here, R mid, and Q1 we already know, 4.156 kilowatt. Okay, so with that I'll get T. Okay, and what is the last part of the question? Now what is the last part of the question? The temperature drop across the section F disregarding any contact resistance on the interface. At this section, at F, what is the temperature drop? Across F. So you just have to find out what is the temperature drop across F. What is the temperature dropping from here to here. Okay. So again I repeat, we can do it in two ways, which is, we know that for the C part, we know Q dot is equal to delta T over RF. RF is not, Q dot is not. Delta T you can find easily, right? Because delta T is nothing but Q dot into RF, which should give you temperature difference, okay, which should give you a value of 142.7 degrees Celsius. Okay, so this is what we have done for this question. Very easy, right? Very simple. Which is related to the resistance network, forming the resistance network, finding individual R values, then computing the total R value, finding the Q total, then according to the question, doing step by step what is required. Okay. Now let's move to the fin part. Here I have put some equations which we might require to use while we are doing the next question. Okay. So what is fin actually, or why do we use fin? Fin is nothing but we are adding extra area, because as per Newton's law of cooling, we know that Q dot is equal to H AS delta T, right? To increase heat transfer, either we need to increase H or AS. Increasing H means introducing pumps, fans, bigger pumps, bigger fans, which is not always feasible. And second thing is increasing area. So for increasing area, what we have done, we have added additional material to it so that the rate of heat transfer is enhanced. Okay, and you also have seen in the lecture how the Finn equation was developed, and you also had different boundary conditions like infinitely long fin. Okay, you also had infinitely long fin, negligible heat loss from the fin tip, as well as specified temperature, as well as specified convection from the fin tip, etc. were covered the additional conditions of the Finn equations. Okay, and here we have when we have some formulas, you also have seen what is corrected length of the fin, what is fin efficiency, efficiency for a long fin, adaptive fin tip, long fin, adaptive fin tip, fin effectiveness, effectiveness for a long fin, a fin effectiveness overall. All this you have seen or you have covered in the lecture with the doctor. So now, in order to make our experience more on it, I have come up with an example question over here related to fin, which will cover all of your doubts related to the fin topic, inshallah. Okay, so that is what you have covered in the fin part, and you also have seen for rectangular fin as well as for rectangular, triangular and parabolic fin profiles, how it affects the graph. Also you have the fin effectiveness versus efficiency versus effectiveness graph you have seen, as well as we also have the effectiveness efficiency versus effectiveness graph for the annular fins or circular fins, okay, or cylindrical fins, whatever it is. Okay, so now we have a question which is related to it. Let's start with the question. Okay, a steam in a heating system flows through the tube whose outer diameter is 5 cm and whose walls are maintained at temperature of 180 degrees Celsius. The temperature is maintained at 180 degrees Celsius and the outer diameter is given to be 5 cm. Okay, outer diameter is 5 cm. So overall the inner, let's say for example, will be specified or should be specified. Okay, and what else is okay? Whose wall temperature is maintained is given. T's temperature is given. It's maintained at 180 degrees Celsius. Diameter is given. Temperature. One second. Okay, temperature, the outer diameter is given. Then what is given? The temperature is given. Circular aluminum alloy of K type is given. Outer diameter of the fin is given is 6 cm and the thickness is 1 mm. That is also given. The spacing between the fin is also given, and there are 250 fins per meter length. For 1 meter there is 250. Okay, and the heat transfer to the surrounding air is also given. Heat transfer coefficient is also given. Determine the increase in heat transfer from the fin tube per meter of its length as a result of adding fin. So what will be the change in heat transfer if you add more fin? This is the question. Okay, so for such questions we will start with like step by step. Okay, so let's start with since we are having this, we are referring to this graph. Okay, so what are the requirements from this graph, or how we can solve this question? Okay, so let's go step by step. What do we need? We need to see R2C over R1. Okay, the equation for R2C over R1 is given is R2 plus T over by 2. So we'll solve step by step to get effectiveness and efficiency. So we'll go step by step. So first we will find the L. Okay, L as per the graph is what? L plus T by 2. LC plus LC L plus T by 2, which I can also write it as the difference in diameters, right? That's also your L. So d2 minus d1 over 2 to get the L. First we need to find the L, because to find LC we need to get L, right? So L is what I'm determining right now, d2 minus d1 over 2. If I substitute, my d2 is how much? 0.6 millimeter, so it is 6 centimeter. So if I convert to meter, 0.6 minus my d1 is how much? 5, 0.05 meter by 2, so which will give me it has 0.005 meter. I found the L. Now what I need to find? I need to find R2C. R2C is equal to what? R2 plus T thickness by 2. Okay, and what else also I need to find? R2C over R1 is the one we need to determine, right? So we will do that also. I'll try R2 to see the curve, R2C over R1. Okay, R2C over R1. R2 is what? Our case, it is 0.3 centimeter meter plus, this is plus, okay, plus thickness by 2. Thickness is how much? 1 millimeter, right? So 0.0001 by 2 by R1 is also there. R1 is how much? Yes, the the outer diameter, which is without the fin, 0.025. Okay, so we'll get R2C by R1 is equal to it's a constant value, 1.22. Okay, and R2C over R1 we found. We also need to find what? We also need to find R2C over R1 is 1.5, so it's somewhere here the graph. Okay, we also need to find LC. Okay, we know LC is what? LC is L plus T by 2. L we found from here, this value. T we already know. Okay, and T by 2. Okay, so for that we also need to find what? Effectiveness, this whole thing, right? Which is this one into root of h multiplied by k times t. Okay, so we are finding out the effectiveness. With this LC value, for effectiveness, what all I need? I'll write the formula, LC to power 3 by 2 multiplied by h divided by k over AP to power 1 by 2. Okay, with all this I'll get the value as 0.08. Okay, so I have now effectiveness, which is 0.08, and the R2C over R1, which is 1.5, so which is around here. So I can find the efficiency easily now. My efficiency will be, efficiency of the fin, we found it out to be 0.97 from the graph. Okay. From here, zero point 0.8 we have, effectiveness we got just 0.8, and efficiency, wait, I made a mistake. R2C was around 1.5, right? So it should be 0.75. So I think I made a small mistake in my calculations. Okay, so that is how you find the effectiveness. Okay, efficiency, or you call it as efficiency. Okay, so after finding that, it is around 93. It will not be around 0.8. Okay, it is something less than that, because efficiency was correct, but this value you have to double check. It's not, the value is less, it's something, should be around 0.4 something, if I'm not mistaken. It was around 0.4 or 0.3 something. Okay, so this is 0.3 or 4. I made a calculation error, so it is something 0.3 or 0.4. Okay, and with those all you will get effectiveness, and from the effectiveness and R2C over R1 we are able to find the, it was 0.3. Okay, let's confirm. So with all this we found the effectiveness as efficiency as 0.93. Okay, now after that what you will do, we will find area of no fin. Area of no fin. So how you can find area with no fin? Area of no fin is equal to what? Pi d1. Okay, without fin. Okay, so d1 over the length we have L. Okay, so our L is 1 meter, right? So which is equal to 0.05 multiplied by meter multiplied by pi multiplied by 1 meter. So you will get it as 0.1571 meter square. Okay, with that in mind, what do we have? Area of no fin we found. Now we can find Q dot of no fin, heat transfer of no fin, is nothing but A, area of no fin, multiplied by TB minus T infinity. Okay, with this values, TB is the tip, which we already know 180 degrees Celsius. That multiplied by the surrounding, which is T infinity 25 degrees Celsius. So Q dot of no fin is what? Q dot of no fin, we found the value to be 974 watt. Okay. Now next, what is your step? To find the area of unfin. We have area of no fin as well as area of unfin. That is the one we need to find out. To find Q dot of unfin. We found Q dot of no fin. Now we will find Q dot of fin first. Okay, before we find Q dot of unfin, let's find Q dot of fin. Okay, how you will find Q dot of fin? Q dot of fin, from the formula we know Q dot of fin is what? Efficiency multiplied by Q dot fin max. Right, this is the formula. Because if you go back, you see Q dot fin is equal to efficiency into Q dot fin max. Efficiency into A dot of fin, area of fin. Okay, you will find area of fin into TB minus T infinity. Okay, so which is equal to so Q dot of fin is efficiency into Q dot fin max. Efficiency we found it as 0.93, right? So we found it as 0.93 multiplied by efficiency Q dot fin max is what? H into A fin into TB minus T infinity with the fin. Okay, you will substitute, put all the values, and you will get it as 15,300 watt. We found Q dot of fin. Okay, now we will find area of unfin. Okay, to get Q dot total fin. Okay, that's the reason why we are doing that. So Q dot of unfin is equal to what? Is equal to H A unfin into TB minus T infinity. TB and T infinity is you already know. H is also already known. Area of unfin is the one you need to find. Okay, so how you will find area of unfin? Area of unfin is equal to let's say for example area of unfin is what? Is the gap, right? The gap we are having over here. Okay, so how many unfin areas we will have? This is the question. Area of unfin we will find. Okay, so that is equal to, we found it as 1 minus 27777 multiplied by pi d square over 4. Okay. So you might be thinking, okay, how did I get this value, right? I just used the formula pi multiplied by d1, okay, into s. This is what I have used the formula as to find the area of unfin. Okay, and s in our case was how much? S in our case was 3 millimeter. Okay, S in our case was 3 millimeter. So just for you to make it clear, one second, let me rub this part. You will have Q, let's write in a clean way. Area of unfin is equal to, we have it as pi d1s. Okay, that is the area of unfin. Okay, s is the distance from here to here. Okay, this is considered to be as, I take it as s, pi d1s, and with all those values I'll get area of unfin. With the area of unfin I'll write q dot unfin, and I got it. Okay, now what is the total thing I need to find? What is the question about? Determine the increase in heat transfer per tube per meter of its length as a result of adding fin. So now how much fin do we have? 250 fins, right? So I'll write q dot total. Q dot total for the fin equation, total fin is equal to number of fins. So the total heat transfer is this much. Number of fin n, okay, multiplied by what? N multiplied by q dot fin plus q dot unfin. I have the values of both, and n also I know. It is how much? In our case 250 fins, right? With those all the values I'll get q dot total fin. I'll get q dot total fin. Now if I want to see the increase in rate of heat transfer, how much is the increase? What I will do? I'll just write q dot increase is equal to q dot total fin minus q dot no fin, the one we found at the beginning, no fin. Okay, with that I will get the increase in the rate of heat transfer, how much is the value. Okay, so in our case we found the value was around 1.74 or something, the increase, because my answers are a bit mistaken, I don't know. So this is how we found the equation, the method. Okay, so this is about this experiment, this is about this tutorial, and if you have any more questions we will discuss it in detail in the live session. Okay, thank you.